We want to make this interactive. But I wanted to talk to you, I mean, we are sponsoring this as an ERG here at Gap Inc. And our Asia ERG is less than 1 year old. We all embrace diversity here, and for us, diversity means more than just what a skin color might be, but it's more about ways of thought, ways of doing things, backgrounds, all of that. What importance do you feel diversity plays here at Gap Inc., whether it be for you, with your teams, this company's culture, what have you? I'll go to anyone. Yeah.
So I don't know how to describe it or define it best, but what I know is it's an enormous part of my day-to-day and everyone's day-to-day here. I think we live, if you think about where we live, I mean, we're very fortunate to live in the Bay Area. It's kind of a little bubble in terms of diversity, diversity of age, race, gender, preference, I mean, all of the above, right? So we get the benefit of that. Then you have this microcosm of Gap Inc., which is an embodiment of that through all of the corporate support that we get. So you begin to want that and kind of need that in your day-to-day. And I think the level of encouragement that we get, that diversity isn't just about a statistic on paper. I mean, it is, right? You can generate a report with how many men, women, you have in your organization. But what it really means is that you get a vast array of experiences and knowledge. And even just the stories that, of us growing up, you begin to kind of latch on to different kind of behaviors and traits that you learn from others as a result of someone's upbringing. And it's not just about professional experience. So diversity can mean so many different things that influence how you do your job, why you do your job. And I mean, a lot of it I take very personally. So, I mean, I don't take, well, I do take but it becomes kind of this part of you. So it's very personal too, right? It's not this switch that you flip on and off where you enter the building and I'm a diverse employee. And then you switch it off and then you go, do you know what I mean? So one personal note, and then I'll stop talking, is my daughter, who is, so that's a whole other set of issues. But she's half Korean and half Caucasian. Well, that's not a race, but she's half European. Similar story, right? So at the time that we started to have to fill out forms for her, at school and registration and all that, I remember one day she came home and with this form, and I said, "What's the matter?" "Oh, I don't know which box to check." Everyone's at school's asking me, "Well, which one do you check? Do you check Asian or do you not?" So I mean, it's little things like that where if I really personalize it and the importance of diversity and how you individualize it, the way that I want it to reflect on her eventually is that she appreciates that she doesn't like latch on to, you have to have this profile, but it's what makes you as a person, right? And we figured out the box. Check. Eventually. So that was a lot of words. Was there other?
Good words.
We figured it out eventually.
I can go next. So I think it's interesting because I want to juxtapose this against how I think about diversity, and it's a little differently. I think about diversity in terms of thought, diversity of thinking and ideas, then rather than diversity of color, race, gender. So what I mean by that is, so I spent 11 years in Silicon Valley working for Cisco and a lot of startups, and what I learned there and what I bring hopefully to Gap here is the thought process. It doesn't really at the end matter so long as you have a diverse group that can think differently. Because what can really be troublesome for a company or an organization or a department is there is group think and there is one think. which results in really poor decision making at the end of the day. So for me, it's hiring talent that thinks differently than you, and again having the courage to hire someone who's not in the mold of you per se, both physically as well as mentally. Hiring people honestly smarter than you, and having the ability to do that, and then appreciating the diverse feedback that you get, and incorporating that feedback into decision making that you end up with having. So that's how I think companies become great. That's why I think Silicon Valley is what it is. It is because you have people from all these countries coming in with great ideas, with a desire to do something great. And we want to bring, and I hope to have something similar here.
And just to build on that, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. This kind of, there's lots of different definitions for diversity, and I think that part of what allows diversity to thrive is inclusion, right? That we are an inclusive culture, and I think that's what's so great about events like this is that we can seek understanding and just understand where people are coming from, the different perspectives, whether it is about race and ethnicity, or it's about the different cultures that you've worked in, whether that's in Silicon Valley or in Arkansas, you know, and part of it, I mean, I think part of what allows diversity to thrive is that we actually seek to understand, right? That we're not just saying, okay, you know, let's get a bunch of people that look different and put them at a table, and that's diversity, right? It's only when we actually open our ears and our minds and our hearts and say, let me try to get in this other person's shoes and understand where they're coming from, understand why they might view something the way that I don't see it. And how can I be open to that? Because there actually might be a better idea in either what they're saying, or maybe there's a better idea that we can come up together because we are thinking about things differently. And I think the other thing that's good about events like this is that it also helps us when we're in situations. I was, a short while ago, I was in a discussion with a group of people who were trying to understand why someone wouldn't ask for help. And I just said, you know, I said, I don't know if this is the reason, but let me offer up, you know, some perspective. That maybe they don't want to ask for help because maybe they're afraid that they might be viewed as not being qualified. And if you put yourself in that person's shoes, that they're probably often being judged because you can check 2 quota boxes when you look at them. And they're fighting so hard not to be viewed that way. And it was amazing the response I got. They said, wow, that was such great perspective. I never really thought of it that way. And now I kind of understand why this person doesn't want to ask for help. And it was less now about a judgment of this person, but it was more about understanding that how do we get this person to actually ask for help and be more supportive of offering up help in a way that they can accept it. So that's why I think discussions like this are great, because it just helps us get in other people's shoes.
We're just so lucky to work for a company that embraces and supports diversity, because I've attended a number of these events. And I was walked away feeling really inspired, and I learned something new or something just interesting, whether it's Jorge's story, Ola last week was wonderful. So it's just, we're lucky, because it's not like this everywhere. Because believe me, I was in an environment where we did not really promote diversity. And so I think you guys are really fortunate to be in a company that promotes it, and inclusion, I think, is the key word. It's not about, you know, who you are, but making sure everybody feels included is probably the most important takeaway